warm welcome to you. Many thanks for joining us on the program this week. It's my pleasure to be here with you. My name is Maggie Osiobo, and as always, we have an exciting lineup for you on the program this week. First to join Faith and her guest, Mr. Silvan Side, Managing Director, RISC Institute, U.A.E, on the CEO Rendezvous, where they looked at attracting and retaining skilled and qualified personnel in the insurance industry. Speaking during the exclusive interview, Mr. Side said that if insurance companies don't prioritize investment on the development of their human capital, they would lose market share and their brand. Do take a listen.
They don't spend money to maintain their human capital. They're going to lose market share. They're going to lose brand. They're going to lose reputation.
On this edition also, we'll bring you highlights of the first quarter press briefing of the Nigerian Council of Registered Insurance Brokers, NCRIB. Speaking during the briefing, the President and Chairman of Council, Mr. Shola Tinubu, called on the federal government to give more impetus to the implementation of the enforcement of compulsory building insurance as enshrined in the 2003 Insurance Act, given the spate of building collapses in the country. Do take a listen.
In the light of recent building collapse in Lagos and Oyo State, as well as other similar disasters, the NCRIB is quite touched.
Not forgetting all the other extras in the lineup, so sit back, relax and enjoy it. Details in just a moment. Please stay with us.
All right, we're still at the 14th World Insurance and Tech-Food Conference here in Dubai. I've managed to steal Mr. Silvan here on the one-on-one interview. My guest is Mr. Silvan A. Said, who's a chartered insurance practitioner and managing director, RISC Institute, based here in the U.A.E. Thank you so very much, sir, for joining us.
For the invitation.
Okay, now I want to quickly start by asking the 21st century insurance industry is faced with numerous challenges, but it does appear that chief of those challenges is the dearth of human capital in the insurance industry, from Africa to Asia, and even the Middle East. Even in the UK, in the US, it's the same problem. But I just want to find out from you, what do you think is responsible for this dearth of human capital in the insurance industry?
I think basically, in a very short sentence, it's the image of the industry. I think over the years, the image of the industry has been this traditional men in blue and suits who are very stern and who collect money
and don't give
pay
back.
Claims. So, so basically people giving an option will go for something a little bit more, perhaps, imaginative. And I think, the industry doesn't come across as imaginative, which has been a perennial problem for many years. But I personally, being involved in development of human capital for the last 15 years in Europe and the Middle East, I think it's changing, not as fast as one wants it to change, but it is changing. What the industry needs to do is to come across to people, especially the millennials, as offering very exciting and challenging career prospects, not as insurance people only. We have to also bear in mind that more than, let's say at least 50% of people who work in the industry are not insurance people. So the industry generates a lot of employment for people now in the tech. It's becoming, of course, very important. People from actuarial background is becoming very important. People with a regulatory perspective. So I think the image of the industry needs to change, and we need to appear to be a little bit more proactive and less about men in blue striped suits and more about people who are out there to provide solutions for ordinary people.
Okay, now, Mr. Silvan, and that's where the problem is, because the image problem you talked about is not just for those who want to buy insurance. It's also affecting the industry and the caliber of personnel that they are able to attract to the industry. So now it's, as I said, it's a twin-headed problem for them. How do you think they can overcome this challenge of attracting not core insurance practitioners, but all the professionals whose services are also, or skills are also needed in the insurance industry, but other sectors are also competing with this for this crop of personnel in other sectors that appears to be more lively than the insurance industry?
Basically, it's the same for customers. I mean, insurance companies have to engage with customers. But in reality, the industry doesn't engage a lot with customers. We pay our insurance once a year. If we have a claim, we make a claim. So if you look at that angle, insurers also need to change the game. We need to get our customers more engaged. And it's the same thing, in my view, with human capital. We need to get youngsters more engaged. We need to get people who have skills in data science, skills in legal, to understand a little bit more and to be more engaged, if you like. I use this word, engaged, in how insurance works and why it is there, and what are the benefits of insurance to society. And then when I think when that kind of starts filtering through, and the brand insurance starts coming across as something more friendly, something more usable, something that we need not because the law says so, but we need because we need to plan our futures, and we need to have financial planning and all this. I think we will see more demand. I mean, if I take the example of the industry here, the biggest number of people who are coming into our institute are people who came to look for a job in Dubai. Over here people come on a 3-month visa looking for a job. They get a job in insurance, not because they came to work in insurance, but they got a job in insurance. But within a year, they like it, and they come to us to learn more. They come to us to become professionals with CII qualifications and all that. So there is something. I mean, I've been in the industry for 36 years. Somehow I stuck with it. I would never move out of the industry, whether as a trainer, as a consultant, as a manager. Once you're in it, and you get into how it works, what it can do for society, how we can develop our products, how we can engage our customers, then it becomes much more interesting to work within the industry. Okay. So it's this bridge between getting people into it that we need to solve, and it's the image we need to.
Okay, finally, Mr. Silvan, for those who are already in the insurance industry, one other challenge that I see in my region where I come from, training and retraining of personnel. It's oftentimes not a priority. And you find in companies when they analyze their budget for a year, the slice that goes for training is usually the smallest. And if any other thing comes to offset the budget for the year, the budget for training is usually the first to be kicked aside. But so with that kind of mindset, how do you think they can actually develop this industry and get it? Because do not forget, some of the old hands, the old professionals, they are getting older, and most of them are retiring. And it's even in my country, it's beginning to show. In some, those that were specialists in some lines of insurance business in the 80s, in the 90s, they are no longer in the business. So today what you find are people who just come, they really don't have the in-depth knowledge of professionalism, or what was there last year, what's the rate, and that's how can they overcome this challenge?
Well, many times people, HR managers, ask me, so I'm going to spend all this money on training. How am I going to realize whether it's worthwhile or not? And I give two examples. The first example is, would you prefer to have 10 people in your department who are doing the work full of mistakes? Or would you like to have 6 people who are doing the work well? I think 6 people who are doing the work well is probably more economic and more effective and better customer relationship. So you need to train those 6 people and get rid of the extra 4. I know it sounds harsh, but that's the reality. You know, I mean, it's better to be more efficient, otherwise the business won't survive. So, in my view, training is an investment, and the companies need to realize that there is a return in investment in cost saving, one, but more importantly in customer relationships. Yeah? Building that customer relationship, you can't do it with people who are not trained to do it. And the other point I make in my sales pitch for training, is if you are a manufacturing company and you're investing $1 million or whatever you want in machinery, you then have to say, I need 20% budget for maintenance. So are you at least maintaining that budget? Like if you're going to maintain machinery, you still have to maintain training for people in insurance. We don't maintain machinery in insurance. We throw away our computers, we buy new ones. But human resources, we have to maintain that. And unless we realize that that maintenance has to be, or rather not we realize, the top management realize, that maintenance is, or rather that the training that goes into their human resources is as important as the maintenance that manufacturing companies spend on machines. What happens if they don't if they don't have preventive maintenance on machines in manufacturing company? The machines break down, the company produces bad products. It's the same with insurance. If the companies do not prioritize this training, which is the maintenance of their human resources, things go wrong, they lose market share, they lose their brand. So I try to, when I'm speaking to HR and even CEOs, I try to show them, or I mean they know, but emphasize this aspect that if they don't spend money to maintain their human capital, they're going to lose market share, they're going to lose brand, they're going to lose reputation, because people make mistakes in a very sensitive industry. But I have to say that in my experience, let's say 50% of the companies I have met, and I have met a lot of companies in conference, etc., are serious about it. Are serious about it, and they maintain a reasonable budget. Last, one point I want to make. Many times they ask me, what is a reasonable budget? And to me, a reasonable budget is another month's salary on each employee. So if you're paying a salary of X over a year, you have to calculate that 12X is for salaries, 1X is for training. That's a reasonable ballpark figure.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Silvan, for talking to us. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Alright, welcome back. We now bring you highlights of the NCRIB press briefing that took place recently at the Brokers' House, Alagomeji, Yaba. The NCRIB, under its present leadership, will soon be redoubling its efforts at raising insurance awareness in the country. Happy viewing.
In light of recent building collapse in Lagos and Oyo State, as well as other similar disasters, the NCRIB is quite touched. It is our belief that the unfortunate incidences are actually accentuated greatly by the lax regulatory enforcement in the construction environment. To combat this, government needs to be more proactive in implementing building laws. Also, they have to continually engage brokers and engage stakeholders in the construction environment and related institutions to elicit their input for a long-lasting solution to the malaise. While the Council commiserates with the victims and families of the building collapse, we would like to use this opportunity again to call on government to give more impetus to the implementation of the enforcement of compulsory building insurance as enshrined in Section 64 and Section 65 of the Insurance Act 2003. Similarly, Nigerians are also advised to, on their own, insure their personal assets in order to mitigate their losses when and if losses of this dimension do occur. Every individual should ideally live up to his responsibility of care by protecting whatever is valuable to him or her, both life and property. Our slogan has been, whatever is worth having is worth insuring. In terms of insurance penetration, the Council is quite aware of the desire of the National Insurance Commission, NICOM, to drive insurance penetration in the country. This is commendable. While the entire industry operators are saddled with the task to make this vision come to pass, the NCRIB will soon be redoubling its efforts by making inputs into the initiative that NICOM has put on the table. We would like to use this opportunity to appreciate NICOM for its favorable disposition towards growing the industry and assure that our Council will continue to complement the Commission's efforts in this regard. The BIBA Conference 2019. In view of the need to enhance cross-fertilization of ideas and exchange professional knowledge across international borders, it is most heartwarming that the Council's delegation will be attending the 2019 British Insurance Brokers Association Conference in Manchester City, United Kingdom. The conference, which promises to be resourceful, is themed Leading the Way and holds May 15th to 16th, 2019. The estimate of the size of the delegation is, as the last count, about 40. 2 leading insurance institutions in the United Kingdom, namely Aon Risk Solutions and Lloyd's Underwriters, who have consented to train the Nigerian delegation on strategic areas of practice while in the UK. The 2019 AIO conference. In a similar vein, the Council has commenced the sensitization of members on the need to attend the 46th Conference and Annual General Assembly of the African Insurance Organization, which will take place from the 9th to the 12th of June 2019 in Johannesburg, South Africa. The conference is organized by the Insurance Institute of South Africa, the IISA, under the chairmanship of Thokozile Malangu, the Chief Executive Officer of the IISA. The theme of the conference is Insurance Penetration in Africa, Insuring the Uninsured.
I don't know how many years it will take the industry to probably recoup. And if you go into the last few years now, it seems like every year a huge claim is always ahead of the market. Now, if you look at the premium that was paid at the inception of this policy, it's like a serious apology. You know, so and the brokers will always try to exonerate themselves that, oh, we do not. The premium is a market function. Insurance A, insurance B, insurance C, insurance D, they will come out. And you as the broker, you now determine, because like somebody was saying, if I can get a policy free from my client, oh, I'll be happy. Because I always give my client what they want.
I've always said that, although you may not have mentioned that directly, you're going back to the issue of pricing and whose responsibility to price the product that the person sells. And the only person that can price the product that the person sells is the person himself, the seller. There is no other person that should be able to do it. No other person. You know, so now, how is it done anywhere in the world? Why are insurance companies, you know, AXAs, why are they doing so well everywhere else in the world? What is so different about us? Let's try not to start looking as if everything must be different for us. You know, we must turn everything upside down. The issues that you have is, I see some of your alarm, but I see that many of them are anecdotal. Anecdotal in the sense that what you see in front of you that is so painful covers and builds up emotion that you don't go and dig on for a complete data to be able to understand the entire picture. So let's take it for one. You said there is some big claims in the market. I say, what claim? There's no big claim in this market. I first start from that just to get you going. Because the claim, when someone told me what the claims were, that they said it would be, because I had these complaints, I took it, I converted it to dollars, and I went back years in Nigeria. I said I can list you so many hundred claims that are just that size. Just that size. So so why is this one a problem? Let me tell you why it was a problem. The problem is the people who are selling the insurance have not woken up. Anybody who is selling, say, an imported vehicle or imported item, as the imported item has come and you have stock 10 in your business, and then there is devaluation of currency. What do? If you sell that car that you still have in your stock at the same price you sell it for, you can't buy a new one to replace it. But what do? We continue to sell at that old price, knowing that it has gone up.
Slowly but surely, we've come to the end of the program this week. Thank you so much for being a part of it. Do join us again next week, same time, same station, for another exciting package. In the meantime, feel free as always to connect with us on all our social media platforms. Once again, my name is Maggie Osubo. From all of us here, it's goodbye. But first, enjoy our parting shot from our host, Osh Baby, at the 2018 Insurance Industry and Consumers Night.
The first I call Lagos. When I know say Ojota na be airport before. Na be airport because every bus, anywhere where they come from for Nigeria, where you go stop? Ojota. Izuchuku, Ojota. Young Shagro, Ojota. From Owerri, Ojota. Akure, Ojota. Ilorin, Ojota. That place where did they used to do modern dustbin now? A park. So as I come down from bus, madam, as I don't fall down, I get, because anybody they come from Owerri, they come with black nylon. They call us cellophane. So he did my armpit. He must do your armpit. Because your stress must be armpitted. So as we hold the thing, as I just reach, I just come down. From nowhere, one guy just come out. Just look me. Just say, Je m'appelle et donc c'est la tracé tradition. Now look this bus stop. You not be Paris now. Why this guy they speak French? Now I say, Je m'appelle c'est la continent c'est à papa. I say, hey, they don't show. I say, if I don't speak French today, I die well. Now the guy give me one, say, Marcella say not on say. Now I say, hey, don't say travel. Now the guy look me, je peux say français. I say français la worry.